Good evening, everyone. I'm going to open our official board meeting this evening. So welcome to the School District of Springfield Township Board of School Directors Interim Board Meeting, March 7th, 2017. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading of the mission statement. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high-achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Roll call, Mr. King.
Mr. Chapman. Here. Mr. Salas. Mr. Lapidus. Here. Ms. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Rayer. Ms. Sarsfield.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky.
Here.
Mr. Taylor. Here. Ms. Lipinski.
Here.
Announcements. The board, at its discretion, may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in Policy 006.2, Broadcasting of Meeting. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following the board meeting. Are there any public comments on agenda items? We're going to move into the administrative report. Dr. Nancy Hacker.
Thank you, Mrs. Lipinski. Just one quick item, and that is on March 23rd, we're going to be hosting a community meeting to talk about our K-2 building project, our construction project, and the construction of our brand new kindergarten, first and second grade school. So for those of you who might be interested in hearing more about our progress on that project and the planning that we've done up until this point, the timetable, and also to hear from a number of our residents who have been part of the planning committees that have worked actually on the interior as well as the exterior design of that project, we invite you to attend on March 23rd. It will be here in the Freeze lobby at 7 p.m.
Thank you. The reports of committees. We have an Academic Affairs Committee report by Dr. Karen Taratusky.
The Academic Affairs Committee met Monday, February 27th at 5:30, and there were several members of the board in attendance there, Mr. Chapman, Mrs. Nelson, myself, Dr. Hacker, and Dr. Atkinson. We had actually two guests with us, Mrs. Jennifer McCaslin, who's the department chair of the high school English language department, and Mrs. Tracy Walter, who's assistant principal there. We talked about several new courses that have been approved for the language arts, English language arts curriculum, and these will be offered in the upcoming school year. The language of influence, American literature, and global literature. And American and global literature will be offered at the academic and honors level. So they have done a lot of research in terms of developing these courses to have them offered for students in, I believe it's the 11th and 12th grades. And we also took some look at the advanced placement courses. Mrs. Walter has been doing some exploration into who enrolls in those classes, why they enroll in the classes, do they take the exam, why don't they take the exam, just so that we can better understand our students and their choices, and make sure that we can offer advanced placement courses that students will be interested in taking in the upcoming years.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you.
Sure.
Now we have a property committee report from James Taylor.
We met on Thursday, March the 2nd at 8:15 in the morning at the Administrative Conference Room. We talked about the summer projects for 2017. We had one additional project come up, which was for the middle school cafeteria floor replacement. There was some bubbling and cracking in the floor that became a safety concern. So, and the floor has also been repaired many times before, so we're going to go ahead and get that fixed the proper way. We We talked about the Township and Fraser Road meetings. One was held on Tuesday, January 31st, that included our Township officials, the Schrader Group, and Huey CM representatives. There was another meeting that was held on Thursday, January 26th, that included the school administrators, the Schrader Group architects, and the Renewed Design civil engineers. Third item we talked about was the review of the 3D view of the proposed new high school entrance. We also talked about the K-2 elementary design for 2 options. And we talked about substitute services for in-school and event security. There's been some shortage of staff recently, and we're looking into contacting some other school districts and see how they handle the situations and what their vendors may be. Our next meeting is going to be on tentative for April the 10th, and we did have an executive session regarding real estate. Any questions?
So I just want to follow up on our discussion about the tax elimination. We have some but actual resolutions that other school districts have passed, other school boards have passed, that would be stating that we oppose the property tax elimination bill. So if the board would read through some of those resolutions and send myself and Dr. Hacker feedback, we'd like to entertain doing one ourselves. If we want to move ahead with that, we could potentially vote on it at the March 21st board meeting. So if you all would do that, that would be great. Thank you. Now we can move on to new business. Number 1, approval of agreement with Asset Control Solutions, Inc. for asset inventory and valuation services. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement with Asset Control Solutions for asset inventory and valuation services for fiscal year 2016-2017 for valuation services for an amount not to exceed $8,250, and for fiscal year 2017-2018 for an annual maintenance not to exceed $650. Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second? Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chaff. Aye. Mr. Lapidus. Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Aye.
Dr. Teretuski.
Aye.
Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. Number 2, WASP Barcode Technologies Agreement. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the attached 3-year agreement with WASP Barcode Technologies for inventory software. Attachment Y. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chaff. Aye. Mr. Lapidus. Aye. Ms. Nelson.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Aye.
Dr. Teretuski.
Aye.
Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. I see that we have, someone has signed up for public comments on non-agenda items, and that would be Ally and Alex Kowalik.
Is this close enough? Okay. Well, we're just right here. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, if you both could say your names and your addresses.
Okay, my name is Allison Kowalik. I live in Orland.
I'm Alex Panacci, and I live in Orland, too.
Okay, so I'm 13 years old. I'm a 3-year member of Odyssey of the Mind. I'm here to speak on behalf of the 7 kids 2 years ago, the 14 kids last year, the 14 this year, and the kids for the years to come. I would also like to speak on behalf of Erin Bloom, our Odyssey coach, whom I will refer to by the name of Miss Bloom. I'm also speaking for all 5 coaches I've had in the past 3 years. Alex is going to try to define Odyssey of the Mind because it's a bit of a confusing topic if you don't already know what it is.
I'm also a 3-year member. I've been with Allie the whole 3 years. So Odyssey is basically about creativity and problem solving. So at the beginning of the year, you're assigned, you get to choose between about 5 questions. So this year, our question was called It's Time Omer. So we had to describe a world we were using materialism. So our whole basis was on recycled objects. So we basically had to make everything, but you're trying to describe everything in a creative way. Now on their website, they have this definition that says Odyssey of the Mind is an international creative problem-solving program that engages students in their learning by allowing their knowledge and ideas to come to life in an exciting, productive environment. Participants build self-confidence, develop life skills, create new friendships, and are able to recognize and explore their true potential. So we're just trying to make it a club because we never really have enough time during Spartan Block to actually work on it. So we're trying to work it in, and we'd like to have it next year when we come to the high school, and we need a sponsor as a teacher to help us during the way.
And this year, our team, Springfield Township Middle School Team A, we won second and will be representing Springfield Township at State in Moon, Pennsylvania, which is out near Pittsburgh. All of the money spent on our problem was our own. All of the time we spent on our project was our own. Nothing except a place to store our stuff is provided by the school, and technically that's provided by Miss Bloom. Miss Bloom has been trying for 3 years to make Odyssey of the Mind a club at school. They never told her why we couldn't have a club at school, and they never told her why we could. This year, our team brought home a silver trophy and are going to be putting it in the school trophy case. This is our medal. And we will represent Springfield at the statewide competition. But Springfield doesn't even allow us to be a club, and meeting once every 6 days we feel is not enough. So, would you please consider making us an official club?
So that's a great question. And I think there's a creative problem-solving way to solve your problem. No. So here's how clubs work in our school district. Clubs are defined by a need, and obviously you've done a wonderful job of explaining the need. So we ask first for a sponsor, and you've obviously told us you have had several sponsors in the past, and you have a wonderful sponsor in Ms. Bloom, who's gotten you to this level, which is fantastic. So far, you have some of the prerequisites in place. The only other thing it sounds to me like you need is money. And the money has to come from somewhere. And we have a lot of students who want to have clubs and want to have organizations, and we have a lot of teachers who want to be sponsors for some of these wonderful activities. But unfortunately, the way the teacher's contract works, there's only a limited number of clubs. The good news is we're in the process of negotiations, and we've already had a conversation about creating more clubs and opportunities for students, which is something I know that my fellow board members and colleagues here are very much in favor of as well. We always want to be able to provide additional opportunities for our students so that they can learn more, flourish, and grow. So that means that we are working very closely with the teachers and their association in order to be able to find a way to incorporate more clubs and activities into the new contract. And we're doing that right now. The new contract, if we can agree on one, is set to begin this summer on July 1st, which means by the time you come back in September, if we have a ratified contract, a new club will be in place, and I'm sure Odyssey of the Mind will be one of the clubs that will be considered. Now, I can't make any guarantees because we're not done with negotiations yet, but what I can guarantee is it will be strongly considered as one of the new clubs we approve.
Okay,
How's that
thank you.
sound?
Sounds
Thank you.
good, thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is, and I don't know, what's the difference in what you guys do now and having a club? It seems like they're going to a competition and obviously they're getting better.
In the middle school, we have Spartan block, which is about a 35-minute period. And right now, once every 6 days, we get to meet for 35 minutes. And so in the past 2 years, we basically got in last place. But this year, we put away a lot of our side time. But it's really hard to get all the team together at someone's house on the weekend because a lot of people are doing things. So we've had a lot of meetings at home and outside of school. But if we could have it after school, we could guarantee everyone would be able to go to school at least for 45 minutes after school, at least once a week.
And are you guys envisioning this as a middle school club or a high school club?
We're envisioning it as both.
Well, right now, we're trying to get it to be a middle school club, but we would like, possibly in the future, to get one or something started in the high school for Odyssey of the Mind, because we all have kind of come to accept that this will be our last year, and realizing that that doesn't have to be how it is. It would be nice to try to get something in the high school, but we need to get there first and talk to some teachers in the high school before we come to any decisions on that.
You guys are both in 8th grade, is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'd also, if Odyssey starts in elementary school, so after we have our 2 teams creative, we thought it'd be nice to introduce it to the elementary school, so then we could have more people getting to do fun things and create new friends.
Can I ask a question? Thank you for teaching me tonight about what Odyssey of the Mind is. I did not really know before tonight, so thank you. Do you have an idea, you said a lot of whatever you've done up to now has come out of your family's budget. You guys have paid for the materials or recycled the materials yourself. Do you have any idea how much money you would be a comfortable amount for you to have to run the program each year? And have you approached the home and school programs, or, the PTAs, if you will, to see if they would support until we get some other things in place? I'm just thinking about that cost for you guys.
So for each team, you have a limit of about $150, and right now we have 2 teams. So at the middle school, it'd be about $300, because if you can't spend over that, we don't need a lot of our stuff has been recycled, and we've basically narrowed it down to the least money as possible since we're all paying for it. But it'd be about $200 to $300 for both teams at the middle school.
And sorry, I'm just gonna expand on that a little bit. But so our budget this year, I think, was $140 something, and we spent about $60 just because
About 100, but after
our about $60 during the competition the first time, and so we did raise that a little bit, but it's usually pretty far below the limit, so it could range from $200 to $300 usually.
Because
Did you guys reach out to the PTA or anything to offset some of that cost?
No.
and
You also need money to travel to the state competition, right? You said it's near Pittsburgh, right?
yeah, it's a
It's
5
5
hour
hours
drive.
away.
And to pay those.
I just wanted to say thanks for bringing this to our attention, because I'm sure it took a lot of bravery to do that, and also to congratulate you for doing 2nd place.
Thank you.
Considering you had so little time to get together and organize it.
I'll show the medal.
Are you going for the gold?
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, in 3 years, last to second's not that bad. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
A little birdie just whispered in my ear that we wanted to make one more announcement before we close the meeting. I know that several of us have students who are working really hard this week in dress rehearsals for our high school production. It is The Wiz, and it will be playing Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday matinee. So please come out and support our students, our thespians here at the high school, and see The Wiz. So finally, I would like to announce some future meeting dates. The school board meeting will be Tuesday, March 21st, 2017, at 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. And the interim board meeting will be Tuesday, April 4th, 2017, at 7 p.m. in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. And that's all. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Motion to adjourn.